Hey there, you're listening to You Still Going On About That with Rob Israel and Joseph K. You can find us anywhere you could download podcasts. You could also find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at YSGOAT. Thanks for listening. I'm Rob Israel.
I'm Joseph K.
You still going on about?
That.
All right, Joseph. I'm back.
Yeah, you
I
were
did it
you were
last.
away.
Yeah, I went to the moon. I invested in some crypto and went to the moon.
Yeah, that's right. They
Yeah,
say
to the moon.
win Lambo.
No, I just went back to my hometown area. Saw some friends
Yeah,
and family. It was nice. I'm not gonna tell
nice.
you where I'm from. You have to figure that out on your own.
Whitefish, Montana.
White
Whitefish.
Cocknut, Missouri. Butt Nugget, Michigan.
Yes, yes. Uh
Cock and Balls, Kansas.
my brother's young son, who is very young, has recently gotten to D's nuts jokes, which have been they're great. They're all really good. Um,
Mm,
yeah, so
nice.
which I always kind of figured would be a cool city name, like D's Nuts, Missouri, or something.
Sandy's nuts. San Diego. Sandy's nuts.
Yeah.
Town in California that people go to and
They're
see
good.
these nuts. All right,
I always
Joseph. Well, go ahead.
back when I was on Twitter, every once in a while I'd go and like type something like a bunch of smooth brained MAGA fans would be talking about something, and I'd be like, well, I think Trump actually has a point here because of the case of like Connecticut versus DN. And someone would invariably be like, well, what is DN? And then I would just type in D's nuts. And then like I got so much satisfaction from that.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. So yeah, you're back. We're back.
Yeah, we're back.
Yeah.
Great.
Well, okay, so here's what the first thing we were going to talk about. I saw a teaser, like a 5-second teaser a couple days ago, and they said the next morning we're going to release a full teaser trailer, like a 15-20 second one, and it was the new Fantastic Four movie, the trailer for the
Did it live
movie.
up to the name?
I legitimately thought it was awesome.
Yeah, I know it looks sick. I think it's great. I love man, what's his name? I gotta like go to the
Ebon, are you talking about the
yeah,
Thing guy?
his name is like is he like Israeli or something? I don't know.
I have no idea. He sounds like a video game character, the name. Um
Yeah.
Ebon Moss Hart, I think it is, or something like that. He's cousin Richie on The Bear.
Yeah.
And he's great on The Bear. He was on Andor. He
He killed
played
he was actually it's funny, this is his second Marvel thing.
what was his first Marvel thing?
He was microchip on the first season of Punisher TV show on Netflix.
Oh, that's funny. Huh.
Yeah.
Well, he's a great actor. He would
Yeah,
like
he's really good.
I never would have
My
picked him for the Thing, but he's great as the Thing.
my favorite thing he did was he was on the show Girls and he dated they're all like nepotism. All
Yeah.
these girls on the show, every one of them was like a nepotism baby. It was like really funny. They were all nepo babies. And I think that's why a lot of people hated the show to start with. It was like so in your face. Like you had that one girl who's that famous like playwright guy who turned to like some right-wing nut
Oh,
job.
David Mamet. Yeah.
Yeah, her. I mean, I genuinely like her and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, it's kind of funny. You get like some of these actors and like you see them and they always play like young people or they play like people in their 20s.
Hmm.
But now they're like older, a lot of them, and I just can't see them. And we'll probably talk about that later with when we talk about real pain. Like I can't see them as like actual adults. Like these people are like
Yeah.
way in their 30s, late 30s, early 40s, like and I just still see them as like these 20-year-old actors, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I see her and stuff and I'm curious how old she is. I can't I bet she's like a little younger than me, I bet. Or like 10 years younger, I'll assume. Um so what was I gonna say?
You know what?
Oh yeah. So he was on that show and he dated the news guy who got fired from NBC or they demoted him. What was his name? He was like an anchor, something
Don
Williams.
Lemon.
No, Don Lemon was CNN.
Oh yeah, right.
Brian
Uh,
Williams.
oh yeah, okay, yeah,
Williams ended up being the girl ended up being like the villain in Get Out.
okay.
She was one of the villains in Get Out.
Jeez, yeah,
Okay, so there's this crazy scene. It was like the first. It was like I don't even. I watched Girls. I don't know why. It was just. It was part of like the HBO blocks. I just fucking watched.
yeah.
You
I
know?
never watched it, but I know it was like kind of a cultural phenomenon.
Ugh. Yeah, cultural. I don't know. It was okay. I couldn't. I could. You know, it's like I couldn't stand what's her face, the main girl,
Lena Dunham.
and it's like you know you should. You don't really see her much around anymore. I don't know. I think she still does stuff. I saw some weird movie she made a couple years ago, and it was all right.
Yeah.
And then actually, that guy was in it. The guy who plays the Thing was in that movie, as well as the Punisher.
Okay.
And I guess they have a working relationship, like because that's right. They did he was microchip on the Punisher
Yeah.
guy who is the brother who killed himself on the bear.
Right. Yes.
What's
Yeah.
that actor's
God.
name?
Jeez, man. It was
Yeah. These people all have like working histories. So to get to the point, he eats out Williams's ass on like the first like season premiere of an episode. There was like a scene and what's her name? What was her name? Williams?
jeez. I'm like bouncing back and forth between all these pages.
Look her up.
Um, yeah, like I said, I never saw Girls. It had
Oh, Allison Williams. So
okay,
Allison
yeah.
Williams is dating him. It was established like the season four, so this was like the first episode of a new season, and they're having sex, whatever, and it's really quick, and he just goes right into her asshole and starts eating it. Like they don't show her, but like
Right,
his
right, right.
face is just in between the cheeks, and he's
Wow.
eating, and then he said, "Thank you, chef," which was weird. That's how he got the part. Actually, they were going through it was real.
Right. He said
And
hands.
casting, and he said, "Thank you, chef," after eating her ass, and they're like, he already knows the dialogue.
He's halfway there.
And he
That's
already,
40% of his dialogue. That's
he's
40.
like, yeah, he's saying "Thank you, chef" like every fucking 5 seconds on that show.
That's funny.
No, when they announced that he was gonna play a thing, I thought that was awesome.
Yeah.
Um, I think especially, I feel like he definitely earned it, especially after like the cousin Richie character. I could see the thing kind of being a similar type of character.
Yes.
Also, like it also makes sense because like in the Fantastic Four, the setup, you have Reed and he's married, he marries Sue or they're dating and they eventually marries her. And then Johnny is the brother of Sue Storm. And then
Right.
you have the Thing, who was like a old friend of Reed Richards, and he's kind of like he's the one who gets the worst because his appearance ends up being like a monster while everyone
Yeah.
else retains a normal look. Like even the fucking guy who lights himself on fire, he can control it. He's not always on fire.
Right. He's not always on fire. He's
There were comics where he was, but that doesn't matter. That was never a permanent thing.
right.
Um, so it's kind of interesting too, because like on the bear, he's like how do I say this? He's he's a cousin, but he's like a family friend. He's kind of like on the outskirts of the family in a way. You know what I mean? Like, he's not a
Yeah.
blood related cousin. He's he was like I'm assuming he was like the older brother's best friend, the one who kills himself. Am I
Yeah.
am I getting
I that was always a little ambiguous to me. Um,
Yeah, it's weird. Like you got the facts and like I love how they just keep adding facts
they
every
keep yeah.
there
Yeah.
was like didn't there was a famous person who was one
There
of the
was, and it was a little I didn't love that, even though I liked the actor and I liked the
who
scene. It just took me out of the
yeah, who was it? It was like a big
it was a real big name. Let me see if I can look that up. Uh
it was kind of silly.
it just like that movie feels like almost like a documentary, and that like
TV show.
quickly took me out of the moment. The bear, that was in season 3. He didn't show, he showed up.
John
Um,
Barenthal is the oh, it was fucking John Cena.
that was it. Yeah.
I mean, the only thing that was like funny about it is just because like they
It's
all
John
come,
Cena.
yeah, and it's all different shapes and shit. So like, I don't mind like next season if they have like someone ridiculous as like the next one.
That would
Like
be funny if they made that a thing, but like maybe it was two at the time. Like John Cena was real big. I had just seen Peacemaker was out at the
I mean,
time, and I think
he's
Ricky
still good.
Stenicki was just out, and it seemed like he
Yeah,
was
I mean, he's
everywhere.
constantly doing shit.
Yeah.
He's constantly working. Um, so I think he's perfect for the thing. I like, people. One of the big comments were, and people always say this, like, dude, like the movie's not going to be out till like, do you know what? I think it's gonna come out to like July, and the effects aren't 100% there yet. But I thought the thing looked perfect. I thought he
Oh
looked
yeah.
amazing.
Hmm.
I guess people were complaining about the voice, like,
Mm,
like he should be like more like, like he's the thing, and it's like, no, I thought that was actually perfect because the whole, and it was kind of fun. He's making food with the robot,
yeah,
which,
Herbie.
yeah, it was just kind of fun. And then he said, "Thank you, chef."
Right, yeah.
That's why he got the
Like I thought the thing was great. It
I
looked
like
good. It
it
moved
makes him more
well.
human. And if you look at the thing,
Hmm.
his eyes are the actor's eyes.
Okay.
So he's clearly, this is how they do a lot of these movies. Like even when the Hulk, like what's his face is the Hulk
Yeah,
when
yeah.
he's like he
Ruffalo.
wear like a thing and they make him wear like a thing on top, like a big head thing. I mean, I'm sure like when he's doing big battle stuff, they're not having him do that because that's all animation at
Yeah,
that
yeah.
point. But when he's like walking around, he's there on set and he's in the full suit. And
Hmm.
I'll assume that Ebon's world, that's not his name.
Yeah.
His name is Ebon Moss Bacharach. Not
Right.
no, not related to
Elon Musk.
the late singer
Burt Bacharach.
Bacharach,
Yeah.
Burt Bacharach. Yeah, I don't think that's the same
No,
spelling.
neither.
It doesn't matter. But if you see the thing, it's his eyes. Like it's
That's
pretty,
cool. Yeah.
and it makes by him being the voice, it brings a humanity to the thing more instead
Hmm.
of being like a,
Yeah.
like
Well, that's the
I
thing is that
I'm
there's like
glad.
a great sadness in the thing, really. I
Yeah,
mean,
I
like,
mean, his life's destroyed, and he's a big rock man.
yeah, right.
People are like, what is his voice? I can't want to even talk. It's like, who gives a shit? Shut the fuck
Yeah.
up. It's a
It's
fucking
the thing.
cartoon. Here's the thing. Yeah,
Right.
people were posting that. Here's the thing. It's kind of funny. Here's the thing. Um, so that to me is like the biggest hurdle is how you're gonna do the thing in the movie.
Yeah.
I kind of always hated the chickless version. The costume was just too shitty. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
It just never felt Rocky to me. They didn't give him the brow. That's the key.
Right.
That
Yeah.
big ass Jack Kirby brow. That's that's what makes the thing. And they didn't do that. And then that other movie with Josh Trank was garbage that came out in
Mm,
2015. He was interesting looking, but he was just like a big rock monster. They didn't really look like the thing. And then I'll say this up until this Ebon Moss Bachrock
hmm.
thing, the best thing was from that Roger Corman movie that never came out. I felt like that was the most comic accurate thing.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's like it looked good.
Yeah.
1994 for a cheap ass movie. I thought they
Yep.
did a great job. It looked like the thing. And I always felt
It
like
was
they
slight. Like, it wasn't, I think of the thing as being a little bigger, but yeah, I know what you mean.
yeah, he's supposed to be wider. And that's
Hmm.
like why and that's why another thing, like Chickless, like I don't know, it didn't work. I mean, he was wider too, but it just didn't work.
Yeah.
He needs to be like he's weird. He's not tall. Like even I always make like people would make jokes and say like freaking Jessica Alba was taller than the thing. And it looks like even Vanessa Kirby's taller than the thing. Like when they're
Hmm.
walking,
Yeah.
he's just like a big, wide, like man monster. He doesn't get taller because
Right.
he's the thing. It's just, um, I don't know. Looks good. I like the aesthetic of it. I like that it has a very unique look to
Yeah.
the 60s. I feel like this has potential to be like one of the top five Marvel movies of all time. Like I
Yeah.
think this one's gonna land in there. You see
It,
the back of Galactus, he looks fucking huge and sick. Like
yeah,
what?
I think it looks amazing. I think everything about it looks real good. I think it will kind of get like the same obviously there's like a similar vibe to that X-Men First Class which was real well received too. Um I hope they incorporate this into the MCU. You know what I mean? I'm curious how
It is.
they'll.
I mean, it is part of the MCU. I
Yeah,
guess
but
I saw one guy put up a good point. And said like complaint was that like this movie should have been way earlier in the multiverse saga.
yeah,
I mean, because this is technically like fuck. I guess this is considered Phase 5, and this is
but is
supposed to
this?
lead up to Doomsday.
But is
And
this our Earth? I mean, like this is
that's the thing. It's not. Supposedly, this is like an alternate reality. People are thinking that what happens is in the end, Galactus just destroys this universe or
and
this
then
Earth.
these heroes go
They
to
end up
to
in
Earth 616 or
in our
whatever.
Earth proper, or they'll get
Yeah.
absorbed after Secret Wars. They'll just be part of it. But
All
like,
right.
I don't know. I'm curious. Like from what I heard, it's not the '60s. It is now
Yeah.
because the
I
'60s aesthetic.
That's what it feels like to me. It feels like a
The other
Jetsons.
rumor is it the '60s and Reed Richards helped transform the Earth by making technology. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's a lot of I heard from what I heard, this is an alternate Earth. That's like that's what's so weird about the MCU because they didn't have like the rights from the beginning. Like in
Hmm.
theory, this should have been the first movie ever made
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
Marvel in general, like before Iron Man. Like this should have been like Fantastic Four is the first Marvel comic, not the first comic that Marvel put out. Marvel
Right.
would
Right.
like monsters and romance, sci-fi,
But as
western.
far as like what we think of as Marvel.
Yeah, the Silver Age. This is this pre Fantastic Four #1 predates Spider-Man,
Yeah.
Thor. They all come out pretty quickly into each other, but like I think, yeah, I think Fantastic Four was already around almost a year by the time Spider-Man shows up. That's why it's
Wow.
funny on Amazing Spider-Man #1, not the first Amazing
Hmm.
Fantasy #1, the Fantastic Four guest starring in it. They're on
Okay.
the cover of it. Like he's like trying to sneak into the Baxter building or something. Because Fantastic
Nice.
Four was the team. And this is like 1962 or 63 at this point. And it's interesting too. I was like watching a thing about it and I kind of knew about this. Like in Fantastic Four #1,
Hmm.
they don't wear superhero costumes.
Hmm.
Not up until issue 3. Because superheroes were kind of dead. They just weren't
Okay.
popular anymore.
Well,
Um,
they just wear street clothes and
they just wore, yeah, like the Thing would wear like that overcoat, and like
yeah. I
Richard
yeah.
wore like a suit. It's just the first 2 issues. The third one they have their costumes, the third one.
Nice.
But it's just interesting in that they were like kind of testing it because it just superhero comics weren't performing well for Marvel at the time. Like not really for anyone. I mean, DC had superheroes and stuff, but and they said just the way it's like they incorporate it's like a perfect comic book to turn into superheroes because I guess the trick was they incorporated all the things that were popular, like the
Right.
romance comics. So you have Reed and Sue, you have Monster, which is the Thing, and then you have the
Yeah.
sci-fi elements, which is the spaceships and all that shit. And they don't have they're not in. So it was like a sneaky way to get superheroes back.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. So so it's interesting though that they have to like create these weird ways to get these characters that should have been there from the beginning
Right.
to exist in this Marvel universe that's been established for um fuck. I mean, this year it'll be in 3 years the MCU will be 20 years old.
Jeez, man.
And you're finally getting Fantastic Four. You're finally going to get X-Men and that'll just happen like right before. By the time this is all settled in, that'll be happening right before the 20th anniversary of the MCU. And I
Yeah.
think the whole plan is that Secret Wars will probably pretty much like reboot the entire thing. Like
Yeah.
which will be a way to like introduce a new X-Men team that isn't fucking Hugh Jackman
Sure.
turning like
Yeah.
80, you know? Even though they said I heard that they plan on keeping him aboard for 10 more years. So he'll be Wolverine at least till he's 60, his
Poor
early
guy.
60s. I don't think he should. I don't think we need to see him like shirtless anymore. I think like at that point, just give him the fucking Wolverine costume and
Right. Or turn him into Beast, Like
just
just
turn him into a totally different character. That has nothing to do with anything.
yeah.
Make him
Well,
Professor X.
they're doing it with
I
Robert
guess I'll
Downey
be
Jr.
Professor X now, bub. I guess I'm Magneto now.
Yeah. I'm hoping this is all leading to and I
Okay.
think, well, no, the big ROM reveal,
The
because
big
I know
what?
ROM reveal.
No, Rom
Uh,
reveal. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's all leading up to Rom.
I thought I saw a dire wraith in the trailer.
Tight.
Uh,
Finally, my Rom comics will be worth something.
yeah,
Actually,
or
they have some
Romics as we
value.
call them, or Romics as us fans call them. Uh,
Romniaks, not Romney, not the guy
right.
who ran for president.
We have
So,
binders of comics.
yes, binders of Rom issues. All 75.
Mm, oh well.
The
Oh,
last year was 75 issues.
wow.
And
I
there was like one toy. I don't think anyone bought it. It was kind of
no.
weird.
It
And it
was
somehow just kept on existing.
the problem with the toy. I remember the toy was that it was not the same size as any other toys.
And then wasn't
Like,
it literally just like a glorified laser gun?
yeah, yeah. And but like you couldn't, like if you had Star Wars figures and like other types of figures, you could like play with them together. But you couldn't really play with the ROM. Um,
No, Rom would just be like a big, hey guys, can I play? Fuck are you? I'm Rom.
yeah. Oh, all
Well, he
right.
lasted so yeah, I don't know. I think this looks awesome. Then it's funny, they don't show you anything, but they show you you get the idea of what this is.
Yeah, you get a vibe for sure.
Yeah. But you don't. And let me tell you, the month of July, I think, has the potential to be the best superhero movies this year than we've had in ever because Superman comes out the same time in
Yeah,
July.
that looks
It might come
amazing.
out the same day.
Mm,
Somebody pointed out, this is funny. There's people are like, which one are you gonna see first? And they're like, I'm gonna see both. And there's
yeah.
like this guy's like, what was it? I get to eat two cakes that day. Hell yeah. Like, yeah, I'll double
Whoever,
feature that,
yeah, whoever wants to make money needs to make sure their film shows first because there's going to be a lot of people that buy one ticket and like stay all day.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Oh,
You know
we
what I
did.
mean?
I remember when I was a kid, me and my friend Chuck, who I saw in New York, but we were like, oh my God, I think I was like a junior in high school or whatever. And we went to the movies and we saw Vampire, Interview with a Vampire, and Star Trek
Okay.
Generation, which
Yeah.
was
The
William
last Kirk
Shatner.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, the last Kirk one. I always thought that movie was a little weird. It was like okay.
It's fine.
The one with the Borg, that was the best one out of the
Yes.
generation movies. Um, and let me just tell you, we might have only paid for one ticket.
Yeah. I
What are the
did
statute of limitations on not paying for a
I'm
movie ticket
probably like
30 years, over 30 years ago?
probably 30 days.
No, like at the FBI knocking on the door. I
Right.
think the ticket was like $6. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I did that in college quite a bit. And I once bought, this is funny, I bought a ticket to see The Filth and the Fury, which was a Sex Pistol. I thought it was a Sex
Yeah, I remember
Pistols
that.
documentary, but
Yeah.
it was really about the garbage strikes in London.
Oh,
And
that's kind of funny.
yeah, I was expecting like an hour and a half
Where
of,
should?
but it wasn't. It was like an
Oh,
educational film.
they don't want to pay. I'll roll their trash out.
Anyway, I bought the
What the fuck
ticket.
am I watching here? I thought I was watching the Sex Pistols movie.
I got a ticket to Filth and the Fury. And when I looked at my ticket, it said like, I think it was the Britney Spears movie, like Coming
Oh
Home or
God,
something.
that
And
came out
anyway,
I think before 9/11 or after 9/11.
it was a movie, clearly a very different movie. And I was like, that's weird. And I went to go see the movie and no one said anything or stopped me. And then afterwards, I was like, I wonder if that ever happens. I wonder if people sell people sell the wrong ticket on purpose to like pump up sales. You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, because if they're even
Like
though
they
it's the
don't
same
care.
price on your end, if they're fucking typing in, they're stealing money from a movie for
Right.
another
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
I
Because
mean, that's
the Filth and the Fury did not get my ticket money. Some other movie got it. And I wondered if that was ever like an organized thing. Like if a theater owner said, like, hey, we get a bonus if we sell X number of tickets to the new Barbie movie, you know?
you
So it's
thought that this was a Sex Pistols documentary, but it was a documentary about the garbage strike in like London.
yes. Yeah.
Was the Sex Pistols even in it?
Yeah, very little bit. The under the whole movie was about this garbage strike, and then in the background of the film, like
They
here
just
and
have Sex
there,
Pistols music.
it was no, it was like how the punk rock movement was occurring at the same time. Um, and but it was like not a Sex Pistols movie at all. I mean, The Filth and the Fury came out in 2000, uh, by Julian Temple. So like it follows the story of rock pioneers, the Sex Pistols, from their humble beginnings, blah blah blah. But it's really not like, even this IMDb thing makes it look like, I don't know, fucking they fucked me over with that, because it was an education. I learned something that day that I did not intend to learn. Because all I
Yeah.
really remember is that it was about like how it was like fucking a disaster. Like nobody was picking up trash in London. It was like
You know what this
fucking
makes me think?
everywhere.
Well, that's happened before. I think in New York, and there was like a garbage strike decades
Yeah.
ago, or whatever. And I mean, the city's like completely. If the garbage does not get taken away in New York City in like 2 days,
Right.
like the city is just a big trash can at that point. Like,
Yeah.
um, you know what it kind of reminds me of when you talk about that? Like you thought it was like a Sex Pistols movie. You remember the Ice Capades? Do you know what that
Yeah.
is?
Yeah. My
I don't,
parents took me to see
I don't
that
even know if they
when
still do that shit anymore.
we used to, when I lived in New Jersey as a young kid,
I'm curious if they do it anymore. I don't know. But the
I
thing is, you know what they would do to trick us kids to go to the Ice Capades?
huh.
Do you know what it would be?
Would they put like a superhero on
Like
skates
in
or
the
something?
middle of the show, there would be like the Smurfs or something, and it would only
Yeah,
be like
yeah.
5 minutes long. In between all this boring ass ice skating.
Right.
And this is how they trick you into going to see. Like at least that's how I felt. I was tricked. Because when you buy the program, and on
Yeah.
the program will be like whatever cartoon or prop licensed property, whatever that year is with the Ice Capades. And it's bullshit because there's only like maybe 1/10 of the entire
Right, right.
fucking experience. So that's kind of similar. Your little garbage strike. Speaking of which,
They went out of
you
business in
ever
95. I just looked.
this might be sound a little pervy, but because you brought up Britney Spears.
Mhm.
Do you remember there was like a weird conspiracy going around that she was like changing the size of her breasts every like appearance she would make?
I don't know. Like,
So at some point, it seemed like it was evident that she must have gotten a boob job.
yeah, yeah.
She went on like MTV Movie Awards. She was wearing like this very tight white like top,
Sure.
and all of a sudden I guess she always had breasts, but she had
Yeah.
bazungas, I guess
Right,
is the
right, right.
yeah, yeah. And so it was a series, but then the next time she did it, they
Weird. No,
got
I've never
weird
heard this.
that she had like injecting like
Oh,
they
like,
would
yeah.
deflate him or inflate him depending on the situation.
It could just be like a push-up
Padded.
bra or something. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
it's probably
that's
like a
probably
little,
all it was. Like
yeah.
it doesn't need to be this like
Right.
crazy. Yeah, she has a fucking mechanism. It's like, oh, gotta make the boobs bigger.
Not everything has to be body horror, you know? Not everything has to be.
Yeah, she took the substance. Like, yeah, not everything's shunting. Like, it could just be simple as
Could
like,
just be, yeah.
give me the
Button
cutlets,
it tighter.
the
Button
cutlets.
it.
You know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's really funny. Not
Oh,
everything's body horror conspiracy. Yeah,
right.
inject air.
Well, okay,
That's
so
what.
Fantastic Four looks great. And look, this next thing I'm going to spend like
Yeah, we were talking about the Fantastic Four.
literally 30 seconds on this. I watched episode 3, season 2 of Severance. I've watched
Spoilers. Now I know there's an episode 3. Thanks for ruining it,
the
Joseph.
well, look, and I can't say anymore because even talking about there being a third, there is some spoiler elements
I
in there.
know one thing that I could talk about.
Okay.
So the guy's name is Mark Cherry. No, what's his name? The chubby guy with the beard. Like,
Oh,
I gotta go to Severance.
it's not Irv on the show. Dylan is his name on the show.
Yeah, but I want to.
I
I
think
love
it
that
is Mark
actor.
Cherry.
I thought Zach Cherry.
Okay, yeah.
He was. See, I liked him from this show on HBO that was about. I forgot the comedian's name, but it was about a guy getting it who trying to get become a big comedian in New York, and Zach Cherry's character is his manager, and he's just
Okay.
such, this is really funny. He was just so good on the show. Uh, yeah, he's a great character. But they have, I guess they have a guy that looks like him, kind of,
Yeah.
kind of.
Okay. Yeah.
The actor, I love
Did
this
you
guy.
see that
I've seen this
scene?
guy. He plays like a weirdo and everything. He's kind of like this. Yeah, there he is, Adrian Martinez, and he's Mr. Saliba. I'm just looking at IMDb,
Yeah.
and like he doesn't look like him, but he has a similar body type to him.
Right. Yeah.
And I don't know anything about the show,
Okay.
but I'll assume there's some kind of gag here.
Yes, there is.
This guy is funny. He's been in like tons of stuff. Um, but again, I don't want you to
Yeah.
ruin it.
Okay,
But
I won't, but you're correct in that that guy's there, and there is kind of a gag that goes along with
because
that.
he posted on like Threads or Twitter or
Oh,
whatever
that's
fucking
funny.
video I was looking at, and it was the pictures with him and Adrian was just talking, and he was trying not to ruin it either. And he says it's kind of ruining it, but like it was an honor to be
Well,
on the show, whatever. And
it is. Look, this season so far, season three is amazing.
oh, it is.
Yeah, it's real good. I think it's great.
How dare you tell me this show? Now
I
I'm gonna go into watching this and expect it to be amazing.
I will say, the one thing I will say, no spoilers involved in it, is that I'm always worried when I see a first season of a show that's got like a real specific shtick. I'm like, well, how are we going to just get more of the same? Are we going to get a completely different show? I want it to be
Or just
close.
padding, like they're just
Yeah,
padding the shit,
I want it to be close enough to the first season so that it feels that way, but I don't want a repeat of the first season.
Yeah, like they'll do
And
something where you think they figured something out, but then they throw in some shit so they could just
right,
add the story and not have to deal with the thing
yes, right, right,
that
right.
everyone expected to be dealt with in the first episode, and you're just like, oh, you're just dragging out this fucking story now.
But they don't. It does not feel dragged out. It feels like it moves at a quick pace, and it feels similar enough so that you're not like, well, what am I watching? And it
Yeah.
feels different enough so that you're like, oh shit, this is, and I'm real happy with it so far. We're 3 episodes into a 10 episode run. Um the the one caveat I will say is so much has happened, in my opinion, that I'm wondering what do we got next for the other 7 episodes, so but it's real good.
Yeah. Well, I look forward to watching it. Wait, so many episodes is it?
10.
Oh, it's 10.
8 was the first season, 10 is the second. So there's
Oh, okay.
seven more. So a lot can happen. And like I said, like I mean, I guess someone could also say, well, some of it's a little treading water, but like it isn't. I mean, in my
Well, like I said,
estimation,
I don't know anything about it, but seeing that guy and then the other that guy together,
oh, it's so
and then
good.
like seeing the first 8 minutes, knowing Brian Balburn's in it and fucking
Yep.
Maeve in it. She has a name,
Yeah.
Shawkat.
It is really, really good. And I'm anxious for you to see it and hear what you think about it. So we'll be good.
Yeah.
All
All
right.
right. Cool.
Well, the other thing, we had two more pop culture things. We had a sad thing and a sad
I
thing.
guess another sad thing. That
Yeah.
movie's kind of sad too.
Well, I guess we can do the David Lynch thing first briefly. David Lynch passed away,
Yep.
which I guess wasn't a huge surprise. He had had emphysema for a while, and had been in ill health and kind of retired, semi-retired. Um, my dad sent me a package. It arrived today of all the New York Times clippings about David Lynch, after he had
Right.
passed. Big manila envelope.
It's kind of
And
funny, even though, like I said, it deals with.
oh yeah, my dad gets the New York Times delivered down there in Florida every morning. He scours that thing. He reads it like cover to cover. And
I have to read the ads too.
the coverage of David Lynch's death it's weird. Like there's stuff about him in the style section. There's stuff about him in the book section. There's stuff about
I
him
mean,
in the
that makes
film
sense.
section.
I mean,
Yeah. He
that was
was
a virtuoso. I mean, it's kind of funny though, because it's like I said, he gets his start after Eraserhead, which really was like what, like a student film or something in some weird way.
if not, it felt like it.
Well, it's like his first, maybe it's like a student film expanded, or I don't
Could
know.
be, yeah.
But then I think he gets the Elephant Man right after that, like
Yep.
right
And
away.
Yeah, he does.
And then he gets, there was talks of him directing fucking Return of the Jedi.
I
Um,
remember that. Yeah.
One of the guys who he was one of the top people. It fell through, but he ended up doing Dune, and kind of, I think it kind of hurt him a little bit. Um,
Dune.
yeah, I think so. Like he had a bad experience. Like,
Yeah.
there's like a 4 hour cut of the movie. We talked about this before. There's
Yes.
like a 4 hour or like over 4 hour cut of the movie, and because there's a reason why, like, even though I think the guy padded it and the
Yeah,
new
yeah.
when he did Dune, he has the two movies. Um, I don't know, like, so I guess he said like none of that footage exists. It's all gone. He can never have done a director's cut if he wanted to.
Right.
They like there's no like evidence of it, even though there is. It's like footage was destroyed and like then he kind of goes off and I guess his big movie, the thing that makes him cements David Lynch is Blue Velvet, right? Is that
Yes.
the
Yeah.
first thing he does after Dune?
Yeah, he does Eraserhead, Elephant Man, Dune, and then Blue Velvet.
Yeah, and then after that, I don't know the order of them anymore.
Well, he had Wild at Heart, which I thought was like a pretty
I
big
never
movie.
saw that one. I always wanted to. It's not on anything. I can never find
I'll
it.
tell you that, and this isn't a spoiler, but the weird thing about that movie, and maybe I'd have to see it again to know if I remember it right, is there's a ton of Wizard of Oz imagery in it.
I, okay.
Like Nicolas Cage and Laura Dern play like Sailor and Lulu, these kind of like criminal lovers or whatever. But there's
Yeah.
like a lot of like Wizard of Oz type of
It's
stuff in
crazy
it.
to realize like how young Laura Dern is.
Yeah.
Like in these
Yeah.
movies. She's funny in Blue Velvet though. She's supposed to be like the wholesome like girl
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he's like going to the dark side or something weird. I don't know. I don't know if there's like we've talked about Blue Velvet, but like is there supposed to be like some weird what's the underlying message in Blue Velvet again? There's like supposed to be like is it supposed to be just like the extinction of like the 50s
Ye-
Americana idealism or
I
something?
think so. I think it's yeah, the rot underneath all of that. You
Right,
know,
because
that
there's a
like
deer or something, right? And it's like
yeah.
in the grass and they notice it. It's just like
Yep.
decaying.
And then in the
That bird
daytime,
in the end.
yeah, in the
Oh,
daytime it's like uh idyllic kind of 50s.
yeah.
And but in the evening it's like a fucking hellscape, you know.
It's
And there's some of
right.
that in Twin Peaks too, you know, to an extent.
Yeah, yeah.
um
I mean, that's definitely brought that to Twin Peaks.
yeah, but then he did Fire Walk with Me after Wild at Heart, and then he did Lost Highway, which was super fucking weird, and then he did Straight
Did that
Story.
movie where he talks to a monkey that was on Netflix.
Yeah, he did that
That was
what is it,
weird. I didn't
What's
care
the
for
Matter with Jack or something, or
Yeah.
uh but he did Straight Story, which was like a very straight story, some dude in a lawnmower. uh
Yeah, he got an award for that. Even people were like, this was David Lynch. Took
it
some
did not it did not seem like him at all. It was like a
No, I
real.
heard that. Yeah.
And then he did Mulholland Drive and then Inland Empire, and that was his last movie.
Did you
Um,
ever see? Okay, I don't care. I don't care for Louis C.K. anymore because
yeah.
I don't think he handled his
Oh, he
his
hand
what?
he handled stuff.
Yeah, he handled it too much.
Right.
Um, but one of the best episodes. So there's like a season where he gets approached to like replace David Letterman or something. Like they're thinking about
Yeah,
replacing.
yeah. Right.
So he goes. They send him to get training, and David Lynch is like the guy who trains him.
Yes, that was
It's
great.
brilliant. And there's this one
Yeah.
crazy scene that's like just straight up David Lynch where he's watching it in the booth or whatever, and there's no sound. And David Lynch is just like up there like if he's like a TV show,
Yeah,
some
yeah.
acting, and there's like no sound. And it's just super, it is like you feel like you're watching potentially like what would have been a David Lynch scene. It's really
Right, right.
funny.
That's
Um,
great. I forgot about that. Yeah.
he I just remember during the first Trump term, he said something, and people were like, "What the fuck?" Like he sounded like he was like complimenting him or something, but I think he meant to say like, well, he probably meant to say like, "Oops" and
Right,
sorry.
yeah.
No, I think he meant to say just that like he's. crazy, like
Yeah.
he does whatever he wants, which I still don't believe that's true. But
No. I
especially
think David Lynch, he's one of those rare. There's like a few filmmakers. Like I like to think of myself as like more than a layperson when it comes to movies. But I'm like not an expert or a critic or anything.
yeah,
But like David Lynch is one of the people that really got me to appreciate movies and what they can do and like how they work. And I can't say enough great things about him. I've seen all of his movies. I like them all for different reasons. Um, just like a crazy, the world needs more people like that.
I think he
And
was
it,
on the Family Guy or American Dad.
yeah.
I think maybe it was Family Guy. I think he ran the bar.
Oh, geez. It sucks that there's one less of those around now. One
I,
less David Lynch.
I like that he played the deaf guy or the guy with the hearing aid on Twin Peaks, and
Yeah.
because it's like a good way of saying like all his lines are like delivered very monotone.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh yeah, like he's deaf. He doesn't know how
Right.
to really sound or whatever. They always say that like there is some truth to like deaf people who learn how to talk, and unfortunately, their voices are
Oh,
very.
yeah.
They
Yeah.
don't. They don't. The fact that they even talk is like a miracle in a way,
Right.
So it's like, yeah. I remember what's her face got into a feud. Marlene Matlin got into a feud with the woman who plays Lois on Family Guy.
Oh,
It was kind of funny. I think it was all in jest, but
yeah. Could
it's
be.
like she made fun of her voice or something, and I don't know. So yeah, I always thought that was funny though, because his delivery in Twin Peaks, so like, okay, he's not a good actor, clearly,
Right. Yeah.
but I think it's on purpose too.
Yeah.
Um, what did he die of?
I
Cancer?
think emphysema. I think he had emphysema for a long time. Let's see what we got
Did he
here.
just like smoke a lot or something?
Yeah. In
Long
2024,
time.
he said he had been diagnosed with emphysema.
Yeah.
In 2020, after a
Yeah, he was
lifetime
like
of
isolated.
smoking.
He wasn't doing anything anymore at that point.
Yeah. He quit smoking. He only quit smoking in 2022, 2 years
Yeah.
after being diagnosed
Yeah, I'm
with
sure he
emphysema.
quit actually.
He said he started when he was 8 years old, and had been reliant on supplemental oxygen for most of his adult life. Um, yeah, and then
All that cigarettes and coffee and cherry pie.
well, this is makes a lot of sense. In January of 2025, he was evacuated from his home in Los Angeles due to the wildfires, and these events preceded a terminal decline in his health. My guess is that having to move and being around all that smoke and soot and all that probably just did him in. But I mean, he wasn't going to be long for the world anyway.
Yeah.
Emphysema, and he smoked like
I mean,
a
he
lot.
was gonna be. He was 79 or whatever, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say
Yeah,
he lived
younger than my dad.
I wouldn't say he lived a long, healthy, full life, but he certainly lived a full life. But
I
he
mean,
passed.
79 is you know,
Let's see, how was he 79? I thought he was a little
yeah, he was
younger.
born 46.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
he's either
right.
79 or
He was 78.
okay, he would
Because
have
he
been.
was born. Yeah, because oh, that's funny. He died 5 days prior to being 79.
Oh,
Um,
I mean, so there's like some comparisons to him dying and David Bowie and even
yeah,
like these are people. No, it has to do with Trump because like they died like right before this fucker. Well, no, David Bowie died before in 20 early 2016. So did Prince.
wow.
So Trump wasn't president yet. That would be 2017. But David Lynch dying like right before Trump gets inaugurated, basically. I don't know. This is people just pointing out like just like cool creative people who are dying and
Yeah,
like fucking cool. This is like I don't know. I can't say I was like the biggest fan of David Lynch. I mean, I appreciate
yeah,
it. I understand his impact on film and just his personality. I think there's like a lot of humor to him. Like he's,
yeah.
people would say he's like serious, but nah, there's some
He
comedy
he
definitely.
definitely had some dark comedy. I think for me it was like when I was in high school, I saw Blue Velvet, and that was the first like cult movie I had ever seen. Before I saw that, before I saw Repo Man, I saw that before I saw any cult movie. And there was a game that you would play called Pabst Blue Velvet that whenever the Dennis Hopper character would say the word fuck, you'd have to take a sip of beer.
And then you
Uh,
die.
yeah, and then you would like get tanked like real quick.
20.
And then when I was in college, Twin Peaks came out, which was like a big phenomenon. So like
I was too young to give a shit about it.
his movies and TV shows hit me like at the perfect time. So I
They they fucked up Twin Peaks when they because like the first season's shorter,
yes, yeah.
and then the second season's like a full fucking season. It's like 22
Yeah,
episodes.
22 episodes.
And I think where they screwed up was they should have worked it all the way to the last episode of Laura Palmer's dad.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's like halfway through the season, and then they're just like, "Oh fuck, what do we do?" And I don't know, they had some bad guy, some other bad guy
Yeah.
shit about. There was like no build up, and I could see why the show ended up getting canned in the end, just because like it should have just been always like just 12 episodes or something.
Yeah.
It should have been a full season.
Well, it too was built. I mean, it probably would have lasted longer if it was around on social media because like it relied on buzz to keep people
Yeah.
interested, and there wasn't a buzz machine
It was
back
so
then.
no, I mean it got so much attention in the beginning. I don't know. And it
Yeah,
just
but like
petered
not
off. I think this
sustainable.
revealing Laura Palmer's dad and then people just lost interest in the show
Yeah.
afterwards.
Well,
Um, but I mean like there's a couple of funny things. Like we're never gonna know what the fuck that thing was in the dumpster in Mulholland Drive.
yeah,
There's like so Mulholland Drive's an interesting movie. He ended up winning like awards for it, but
yeah,
it was a pilot for a
yeah,
show that was supposed to be on like Showtime. And
yep,
when you watch the movie, you can tell because they introduced some characters, and you could tell it's like, oh, like the lady who was like the super of the apartment building that
yeah,
that she goes to, and it's like she's this like interesting kind of character who's like I don't know, she did movies back in the day or whatever, never anything too
yeah,
big,
yeah,
but they set her up as like, okay, this is gonna be like a recurring character on the show, so she's kind of like this disappears later in the movie, whatever, because she'd be a returning character, and then they introduce like all these elements. You remember there was like this guy who's like a cowboy, and he's like his like you will put her in this role or
yeah,
whatever. He's like, I don't know. The movie was kind of weird. I always never. I mean, I liked it, but I also at the same time had no fucking clue really what was going on.
yeah. I found it a little like intentionally inscrutable. And it felt, and you're right. I'd kind of forgotten it was a pilot, but
Yeah, it
like,
was a pilot, but it ended up winning awards as a as a movie. But
people
you
love it.
can
Like,
tell
I think people love it. I think Hollywood people love it because it is a comment on Hollywood.
I
You
also
know what I
think
mean? Like,
is being seen. That's great.
well, they
That
love shit like
for
that.
lesbians.
Uh,
What?
they love shit like that. Like
Hot lesbian scenes?
no movies about movies. Like they like commentary about
Fucking
Hollywood.
yeah, but sometimes I hate those movies about movie things. Sometimes it's
Yeah,
like
I don't love them, but like,
they're trying to like create like some kind of mythology behind it or
yeah,
whatever. It's
well,
not. It's sometimes it's just real clinical and boring,
yeah,
actually. You know. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't have anything else to say about him. I mean,
yeah.
it's just a big name. He died. I think he had a lot of impact culturally, and
Oh yeah,
it
yeah,
shows that unfortunately, we're gonna lose these people more. I mean, he did live to 78 at least. Like I said, Bowie didn't even make it till like what,
right.
late 60s or something. I don't know.
He died really, and Prince, and there's a lot of good ones
Yeah,
we've
Prince was
lost
like in
early.
his 50s maybe or
Meanwhile,
something.
Donald fucking Trump's like 84, and he's just plowing along
He'll live
life
for.
like
I
a
don't think he'll ever die. People like,
fucking
oh, drug
smooth
nuts.
brained.
No fucking way. I bet he'll
Yeah,
live as long. He'll make sure he lives just to make sure JD Vance doesn't become president.
yeah. Oh,
And not because he doesn't want JD Vance to be president, just because he probably hates him.
yeah.
I really do believe Donald Trump hates JD Vance. I think he's just like looks at him and it's just like, I would never pick someone like you. You fucking round-headed Ralph
Fucking Ralph Wiggum motherfucker.
Ralph. I, I didn't choose you. Cheater.
Choose you.
Yeah.
Well, we got one more pop culture thing before we get to Trump, and that was a movie you saw, and my wife actually
I
saw it
saw
and
it
recommended it.
on the plane
Yeah.
coming. So this is the movies I saw on the plane. And they're all
Um,
Well, except for Venom 3. It's fucking stupid, but I just watched it out of like, okay, it's on. Three of these
Uh,
were excellent.
yes.
Transformers 1
Okay.
was amazing. It's CG. It was a CGI cartoon movie that they put out like I don't know, October or whatever, towards the end of the last year. And it didn't do well. Didn't do well. And I think the marketing was bad because the marketing made the movie look like a little kid's film.
Oh yeah.
And
That's
it's
right.
not. It's super violent. It's scary in some parts. The dialogue's great. The story is great. And it sucks because we're probably not going to get a second movie. It's like the origin of like Megatron and Optimus Prime. It doesn't even matter if you like the Transformers. It's like it's a great story. I highly
Yeah.
recommend watching it. I
Huh.
enjoyed it a
Maybe I'll
lot.
check that out.
And the animation looked great. But like I said, I could see why because there are some dumb jokes. Bumblebee's kind of silly. Um,
Hmm.
but it's not a stupid movie.
Yeah.
It's like the best Transformer movie put out in like probably ever.
I'll check it out.
And it just sucks that like people are like I don't know. I wonder if they're all burnt on the Bay movies because even like Bumblebee didn't do that great. And the second, I don't know. But
Well,
then I saw The Wild Robot.
yeah, you told me about
That
that.
movie is amazing. That movie was really good. That was like, I'll say late 2000s Pixar level good. Remember, like Pixar
Okay.
had like all
Yeah.
these bangers before they got forced to make fucking sequel after sequel. Like I
Right.
call it the Wally years, you know. It is like every movie was like a banger. And The
Yeah.
Wild Robot, it kind of reminds me of that. It's so good.
My
And then
wife
I saw
and
this
kids
other
saw
movie.
it.
It was like a 4 hour flight, so I knew I could squeeze in at least two
Yeah, yeah.
movies. And I saw that Real Pain, which I is playing on like Hulu.
Right.
You
I
don't have to
watched
be
it
on a
on
plane to
Hulu.
see this movie.
Yeah.
Um, so I watched it. It was only like 80 something minutes. And let me just pull it up because
Yeah, it is. It came out in 2024. And I didn't realize this. You said it was directed by Jesse Eisenberg. I guess I didn't notice the director, but he stars in it, and he
yeah,
actually
I think at
wrote
the
it.
end I saw that.
He wrote it too.
Yeah, it said written
Um,
and directed by
and it's written really well. I mean, it's a
and
very
usually when a person like that directs the movie, they always like so you could tell that like Kieran Culkin's character is
yes,
the bigger role in a way in
yes.
acting.
It's the more
Well, he's playing the more like straight-laced character, at least less interesting.
yeah,
You do that too because you're like, I'm directing a fucking movie. I have a lot of responsibility and I should, you
right,
know.
right.
So it's like a
Um,
perfect role. Um, yeah, I guess these two cousins, they were like, how they explain it, well, they're Jewish.
yep.
Their, I guess their fathers were brothers or something. I don't know. Yeah, they're
They're
cousins.
cousins that like used to be close
They're like
and
Patty Duke.
right. A hot dog makes them lose control.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh, that's a line from it, right?
yeah.
That's insane.
Patty likes to rock and roll. A hot dog makes her lose control.
That is that's a that line. Come on. No way. Big schlong makes
They're
her.
cousins, identical cousins.
Yeah. I always
Um, that was a
hot dog
great show.
makes her lose control. My God, what the fuck, man? A big dildo makes it like what the fuck. Okay, so I guess their grandmother died not too long ago. So
Yeah.
and she's a Holocaust survivor. So they decide to go. They take this trip to Poland, and
Yep.
the trip it consists of people who are, families were in the Holocaust. There's one interesting character who is a converted Jewish person that played Elosh, played by Kurt Ijewan, which I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
I've seen this actor in a lot of stuff, and he plays like a recent convert, but he brings up that he experienced a genocide, I think in like
The
Rwanda.
Rwanda
Yeah,
genocide. Yeah.
Rwanda. Yeah, and it's kind of interesting to see that because I don't know. It's a Holocaust. I mean, it's a
I
different.
I thought that was incredibly interesting. And it I thought it worked really well because you could see that kind of being like a weird, tacky thing, like diminishing the significance of the Holocaust, but like it didn't.
I
It's
saw
it,
it
it
more as he can emphasize, and since he's
yeah,
married to Judaism, it's still like cathartic for him to um see something even though it wasn't his family.
Well,
And
he was like this. It seemed like the character was saying like, these are the only people that could understand what I went through. You know what I mean? Like they have like a inherited cultural awareness of what I went through. They get it. Um,
yeah.
and then the baby was there. She was great.
Who
Baby
was she? Wait,
from
which one was she?
she was the Jennifer Grey, the one
Yeah.
who the divorced
Oh, okay. I kept on
wife.
thinking that I didn't realize that was her. She had like longer hair. I didn't realize that was Jennifer Grey. I thought that was a different woman. She's like this Jewish actress. She put out a couple of movies years ago. I've seen her and I thought that was her. I forgot. It was like some indie movie and it was kind of
Marcia.
famous where she starts dating a woman and I think John Hamm's in it. It's kind of funny actually.
Oh, that's funny.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't realize that was her. I thought, like I said, I thought it was a different actress.
Yeah,
Kind of,
she played a character named Marcia,
yeah, yeah.
who was good. Anyway, the whole movie, I thought the movie was very, very good. I thought it reminds me, and it's going to sound like I'm dismissing it, but I have like really great memories of seeing a lot of movies that I watched and then kind of forgot about. You know what I mean? And they were like a great movie to watch. They didn't change my life or anything. I'm trying to think of movies like Being There or Breaking Away or My Bodyguard, or like a lot of those movies in the 70s or 70s or early
Yeah.
80s that were just like really good movies. They weren't a franchise. There wasn't going to be a sequel. It wasn't
Yeah.
meant, it was a standalone movie, and that's what it reminded me
Like
of, like
one of the
Bumblebee.
guys. No, Bumblebee was meant to relaunch a franchise.
But yeah, like I found that really refreshing because so many times I'll see a movie and it's clear that they're going to try to make a sequel, like that's already in the works. Um, but this was really good. It was quiet. It was sad. It was,
Well, yeah,
um,
the Kieran Culkin character is kind of fucked up. And you
yeah.
said something that, like, spoilers, he decides, when they're done with the trip, he decides to just stay around the airport. And you said that he was gonna just live there or something.
I no, I thought he was. I thought he is going to kill himself.
Oh,
I thought
you think that's what?
I don't anymore. Like my wife had kind of like explained the movie to me, and in my head, like hearing the way she explained it, she had said like it's really sad at the end because he has nothing left. He's empty. Um in my head, I kind of made it so that like in my before I saw the movie that Jesse Eisenberg left him in the airport knowing that he was done. He was beyond saving or whatever. But that's not how I felt after
He
watching the
smacks
movie.
him.
Yeah, but that's because they
And he's
had
like,
that.
the grandma smacked him or something.
Yeah, he said that the only time anyone ever held him accountable was when his grandmother smacked him for showing up drunk at dinner or something.
Yeah.
Um, but when Jesse Eisenberg did it, it didn't quite work that way. I think even sadder than Kieran Culkin's character is Jesse Eisenberg's character, who is completely unaware of how to help this person he loves. You know what I mean? And he's powerless to help this person he loves.
Yeah.
He can't do it.
Yeah.
He and he's got his own life, he's got his own
Yeah. He has
obligations, he's
the,
got
yeah.
and he based I will say that when he walks away, he like leaves this guy adrift and at risk, and
Well, he does invite him over.
but it
He
he
doesn't, and
does, yeah.
yeah, and he kind of just decides, no, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna stay here and for
Yeah,
a little while.
right.
And I
I
don't
always
know.
felt
I mean, you
like,
can read it as you want. I think he just needs to get his shit together. I don't think he. I don't. Who knows? I mean,
yeah,
it was a good movie. It's a good little character piece.
definitely worth your time. It's like you said, it's quick, very
No,
thoughtful.
like I said, I do like that one character in there, just to show you, like, not to. It's like it's not taken away from the Holocaust. It's
Right.
like it's to point out that these atrocities still happen. And the idea that this man becomes Jewish and it's like he experienced, uh, you know, different
Yeah,
but similar. So
it is. It's true. I mean, it's like there aren't a ton of genocides, thankfully. You know, there are multiple. There are multiple genocides, but like um uh you could see how someone would be attracted to Judaism initially because of that, and then find a group of people that are relatable, that are
yeah.
empathetic and welcoming, and they get it. They might be one of the only ones that can get it, you know?
Well, at
So
first they were like a little like, huh? But
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Um, but he
Well,
went
then Kieran
there.
Culkin's character goes off on the tour guide,
Oh yeah.
and the tour guide's kind of funny because he like thanks him. He's like,
Yeah, at the
done
end
this.
he's like, yeah,
He's
you're
like,
the
I
only
never
one
get any
that's
feedback. So even though I
yeah.
don't think Kieran Culkin's character was being very constructive.
No, he was a weird one. Like, yeah,
Well, that one woman says it's like, I think it's the fucking baby from Dirty Dancing. That's
yeah,
her.
Jennifer Grey.
Yeah, her character says like basically like I'm pretty sure it was her character said something about like he's troubled, like it's a shame because he's this like charismatic, funny guy.
Yeah.
He's likable, but he's also like, fucked up.
He's
And I guess
sabotaging and yeah.
yeah, like yeah, he's self-sabotaging. Like the other character, and I guess that's the other thing too. It's like I guess he's like was always probably more popular and likable,
Hmm.
and just Esmond character really was like I don't know, not
Yeah.
he was the weaker link of the two cousins, and then
Well, he's
clearly
super neurotic too. Yeah.
yeah, but as adults it flipped,
Yeah. Yeah.
and yeah, I don't know. I can't say it's worth. Like I liked it. I don't know if
Yeah.
I could recommend it.
I would say it's look, it's not a I'm trying to think
If
of
you
how I
like
would
these
say that.
two actors, then go
Yeah.
watch.
You know what else it reminded me of in a weird sort of way is that movie. Did you ever see The End of the Tour? Where it was the guy who played
Sounds familiar.
it was about David Foster Wallace. It was a book tour David Foster Wallace went on right
Oh, he's
before he killed
dead,
himself.
right?
Yeah, he killed
Killed himself.
himself.
Jason Segel played him in the movie.
Yes. No, Jason Segel. Yes, Jason Segel played the writer, and
Yeah,
then the movie was about a reporter who followed him on the last
yeah.
tour. It reminded me of that movie. And I liked that movie quite a bit too.
He was dead already before the movie came out, right?
Yeah, they he killed himself, and then the movie came out like 4 or 5 years later. I think it was a
Yeah,
reporter from the Rolling Stone magazine had gone on a book tour with him before he killed himself.
yeah.
Then the guy killed himself, and then the article became a book and then a movie. But it was similar in a lot of ways,
Yeah.
and it was good.
I mean,
It
it's like
was
a conversation, It's like My
yeah,
Dinner with Andre, except they're walking around a
right.
concentration camp.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
like the part where they missed the stop on the train, and I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
God. Yeah. And
Well,
it
it's a
was
good
good.
movie. I
Yeah.
liked it. Like I said, I don't know if I could recommend it to everybody, but unless you don't care about no, that's that.
Yeah, I would say there's a lot for anyone to like. And the Holocaust thing, that's definitely resonant and like an important part of it. But like
Well, it's
even if
about like they even said it's like about generational trauma.
yes, even if
Generational.
even if you just understood the Holocaust as like an abstract thing, you'd still get something out of the movie,
This
you
is
know?
but like the thing is that I always took away from like the Holocaust and all these
Hmm.
things. And as a Jewish person, I always felt like yes, Jewish people should be liberal. They should
Yeah. Yeah.
because you know, when you see like these groups like Trump and all them going after like trans kids who want to be in sports, like that's where it starts. The bigger the you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this is where it starts. They start with the trans people and then they go after these people and these people. So I always say like, you know, this happened to our people. You should be sensitive to other people's like atrocities and I don't know. Obviously, I could see someone be like, "Oh yeah, bring up Palestine." Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Duh. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. atrocities. And as a Jewish person, you should not. It makes no sense to be a right winger because they may not be going after you now,
Right.
but they'll go after you soon.
Yeah.
These motherfuckers were saying the Jews will not replace us back in 2017.
Yeah. I mean, they're still saying it. They
The
just they
guy, one of the guys who Trump pardoned, his
yeah.
blanket pardoning, wore the Camp Auschwitz hoodie.
I remember that. Yeah.
That's
Oh,
fucking
gross.
disgusting.
You know, I
Yeah,
mean,
it's
the
a
whole
gross
thing is
person.
gross.
Yeah. Well, I guess we can start talking about that. So
Yeah.
yeah, Joe Payne was good. Let's talk about some real stuff, some real pain,
Right.
some real
Well,
painful shit.
we'll kind of like, there's four things here. I'll just kind of like name the four things because we'll probably like go through them in order, but like circle back on them as well. Donald Trump today announced that he wanted all Palestinians to leave Gaza and that the United States would develop it into a resort. Um,
He's been talking about that for years. I always said that to all these
yeah,
jackasses who thought that Kamala would be worse than Trump. Is I said you are deranged.
yeah. Uh,
You
it
want to?
it was immediately everyone said it was a bad idea immediately. All the Arabic countries, all the Muslim countries, the American allies, or what used to be our allies, I guess. Everyone said it was a terrible idea. And then within like an hour or two, Trump's people started dialing it back a little bit, thinking, well, he didn't mean that.
Yeah, right.
Um, it is really
Well, they're
uh
leveling it. Aren't they leveling it?
yeah, well the yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I don't think anyone
So
really knows.
where's what's Jill Stein have to say about this? Where's
Yeah, right.
about the leadership of the uncommitted group? Where are they at?
Yeah. Well, I told you before we started recording, I looked for these people for quotes from the nothing. I haven't seen anything from these people in
Oh man,
weeks. The uncommitted movement social media stuff posted something a couple weeks ago about like writing to your representatives. Like,
they got their check. They
what do you
bounced.
mean write to my representatives? Like, you
You
want
could
me
avoid
to
all
write
this.
to Ted Cruz? Is that what
Yeah,
you're thinking? You think
exactly.
Ted's going to get on
Yeah, yeah.
this?
Ted Cruz is gonna be real sensitive to your needs.
Um, So that happened. And then more of Trump's picks got in. They're all terrible.
Of
Um,
course.
uh, Robert Kennedy's probably him and his brainworm are going to probably get in. Um, and did you
Didn't
know
they
that?
say he was?
What'd you say?
Didn't they say he was
Yeah,
picked
well,
already? I mean, like he already got through?
he passed a Senate hearing, so he's all but in. You ever read those Richard Scarry Please and Thank You books when you were a kid?
I think so.
Busy Town. There's a character called Lowly Worm, and he's this little worm that wears like a cap with a feather in it, and he
Yeah, he
drives
rides
it.
an apple, right?
Yeah, he drives an apple. I
Yeah.
saw a thing on Blue Sky the other day where it was a picture of that little worm driving his Apple car, and it had a bumper sticker that says "My other car is RFK's brain."
Yeah.
um, so he's getting all these terrible people in, and then
I
I
can't
think
believe the Hegseth one. That to me is like one of the worst
well,
ones. That might be the worst one, actually.
I think yeah, I think the Hegseth look in. I think Hegseth is probably the worst one because he's so clearly unqualified. He was the weekend host at Fox News like a month ago.
Yeah, so yeah,
He
the
was
fact that Pete Hegseth got in is
yeah.
like batshit insane. The fact that Republicans would vouch for these people is insane.
Well,
What
I,
is he,
I
Gabbard?
those are the more
He's such
weird
a
ones to me
bitch.
are Tulsi Gabbard, who's again, I would have figured like that for that position, they'd want someone who had been a Republican for more than 6 months. I know
I mean,
Tulsi
I don't think
Gabbard was
that
a
matters.
shitty. I
I
do.
don't
I
think
mean, to the average Republican, I mean, like that. I guess that's it. Is like all these people are shitty people, and I'm a little surprised that the Republicans weren't like, can we have better people? You know what I mean? Like even if they
they're
were
all in on
shitty,
it. They're
even if
all
they were
in on it,
shitty
and they're
people,
scared of being they're scared
yeah.
of being primaried.
Pam Bondi is the new attorney general is like a shithead. She's not smart. She's
No.
like a shitty person,
Oh God, speaking of shitty, Trump's press secretary is awful.
awful.
Isn't
Just
she like married to like she's like in her 20s something and
yeah, something like
married to
that.
like some 60-year-old?
All of them are just like dreadfully unqualified, you know.
No,
And
they
I
have no
think
business doing these jobs.
right, not and there are just as shitty people better qualified. Like, let's just say
Yeah.
you're a Republican and you're like, well, look, I know I'm a shitty person, but we won, so we get to put shitty people in. Even they should be like, look, we've got better shitty people. We've
It doesn't
got
make any I
yeah.
don't get it. He
Well,
controls it's insane that they would let these shitty people in. Like
especially like RFK, who's like,
it's just a gargoyle. He looks like
yeah,
shit. This guy's telling you how to live healthy. Dude, you sound like a bag
look
of
like you have grayscale.
yeah, from Game of Thrones.
Yeah, like you
Yeah,
got like
yeah, the
you're gonna
grayscale disease.
fucking
Yeah, they
turn
could
to a
like scrape it
statue.
off with a knife, a hot knife. They gotta like peel off the grayscale. Was that in the show? He finds out how to get rid of it or something.
I think so. In the books, they never did, but I think you're right. In the show, there's like uh, a hope that he will overcome it. Um, but part of me thinks, and maybe this is giving Trump too much credit. Part of me thinks that all of these things are distractions. He doesn't care that they're going to dismantle
Oh yeah,
faith
of
in the
course they're
government
distractions. He doesn't give a
because
shit.
in the meantime, Elon Musk is like literally destroying the apparatus of government. Like
Yeah,
thousands of people are getting fired or laid
yeah.
off. Tons of people are getting pay cuts. He's put like a team of like 6 19-year-olds in charge of all of our data, you know.
That's deranged.
None of
They're like
them
little
have been
cultists.
vetted. None of them have been security clearance. None of them had been
It's
anything.
insane that he has all this access to power.
It's
There's,
insane that
no
like
business.
it's just insane. I started doing this thing because I don't do a lot on social media anymore. I started doing this thing called like the resist bot, where you like email your senators and congresspersons. I send out an email a day, and I try to make it so that it's like a legit letter that would appeal to a shitty person, Republican. And I'm saying like, aren't you concerned that, as an America First guy, aren't you concerned that a foreign born oligarch has put 19-year-olds in charge of all this stuff? Aren't you, is that not,
Yeah,
do
it's
you, do you have
crazy.
any, does that give you any pause? Like, do you want to look into that maybe? And like, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure these letters just go straight into the trash can, like the delete button trash can. But
Oh yeah, they're not looking at that shit.
like, why doesn't does any of this alarm you? Like, I remember when you thought maybe Hillary Clinton had a server in her basement that was like maybe not as secure as it could have been. And now you have like
Yeah, you're okay with Elon Musk
tech
raiding the treasury.
bros, yeah, like literally lock,
Unelected
yeah.
foreign billionaire
Do you
has
think,
full access to the United States.
right? Like in theory, he could just Lex Luthor all the money into a Cayman Island account, and that's that. I mean, like,
Yeah.
does none of this, like, I don't know. I mean, it's really baffling to me. And I've read these articles. I read an article today. I forget the woman's name. It's a woman who writes for Slate. Um, and she was saying like this is a moment where um you people need to wake up, because like all this time people are like, well, it couldn't happen here, and people are like, well, it could happen here, whatever. But like, this isn't like a theoretical anymore. Like this is happening. It's like actually happening. If they get rid of the Department of Education, we're not getting it back.
No, no, these things
And
are gone. You don't, when it comes to government, when you take away something, you don't get it back.
yeah, and like, I part of me is more surprised. Like, think of all these MAGA chuds in Iowa or like the shittiest red states you can think of. A lot of them have kids that have 504 plans or IEPs,
Yeah, I
or
don't get it.
a lot of them rely on Obamacare or Social Security. Like, what do you think is, I mean, like, do you think they're gonna fund your school? Like fund your,
No.
like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, like, I would imagine they're gonna get pissed at it at some point, but like
I don't
it'll
know. I
be,
feel like these people never learn. The people who vote for Trump, they'll never learn because they
yeah,
watch right-wing media, and
I
right-wing
don't
media is
know.
going to lie to them and tell them that if their lives suck, it's because of some Democrat or something.
But there's like, I taught at a in a very right-wing area that voted
Yeah.
100% for Republicans. And most of the kids there ate free lunch and had free breakfasts and had free VPK and free all these things. And all that's probably going to go away.
Yeah. And they're happy to do it.
And they'll
Did you
carve
see
out like,
some I saw some clip of some Republican douchebag congressman getting interviewed about that. And he's like, no one should be given a free
oh
lunch.
yeah, you should get jobs. I saw this too.
Yeah. Doing what?
Like, yeah, like I mean, are you like 8-year-olds should be doing this? And like,
Yeah.
there, how many jobs do you think are there? Like, how many? I mean, do you think? I remember being a kid. Like, it's hard to find a job when you're a kid. It's hard to get hired. It's
Yeah, but
hard.
that's the reason why they like child labor because they could pay them nothing.
It's it's stunning to me that all these things that are happening really should be more alarming to Republicans than Democrats.
Yeah.
I mean, really. I mean, like New York State, all these blue states have been doing it themselves for years. They've had their blue tax money taken by the federal government and redistributed to like,
That's always been like the little dirty trick with the Republicans. And I talked about this. I was talking to my dad about this recently. Like, um, the thing that never got discussed during the pandemic, and I always thought it was super fucking obvious. It's like, why did all the red states want the workers to go back and all that? And it was
mm,
like, because, you could bring up a bunch of things, but I think the reality is sales tax is what
yeah,
funds those states. And that's the dirty little secret.
and yep, and yeah, sales tax and tolls, toll roads,
Yep.
and all that shit. I mean, um, so I don't know. I mean, I wonder, like, I wonder what'll happen. If like you get rid of the Department of Education and there's no more Pell Grants and there's no more student loans and
I
there's
don't
no
even
more.
understand. How do you get rid of the Department of Education? What is that going to do?
Well, and I didn't.
What
There's only like
chaos.
4,000 people that work there. I think what people think it will do is let them have
Let,
the Bible back in school.
let their kid be racist in school.
I don't. Yeah. It's really
Have the
bizarre. I
kids
mean,
school dances.
I, I think I don't know. It'll be. I keep saying it'll be interesting. I mean, that's probably like a not the best way to put it. Um, I don't know what the country's going to look like in 5 years. I
I don't
mean,
even know what the country's going to look like in 6 months.
yeah. Um,
I still can't believe this fucking guy got back in. I think that's
I
insane.
yeah, I can't either. And like literally everything shitty that you thought he might do, he did like on day one.
Yeah.
He pardoned that Silk Road guy, the child rapist guy. He
Yeah. It's
pardoned
gross.
cop killers. He like released a ton of real shitty people back into the,
Oh, yeah.
like,
The fucking January 6 people. All that.
I
Yeah. Like, so
and
a lot of
honestly,
people got arrested again. And I know there was
yeah.
one that got killed by the
Okay.
cops. And then another one from Texas, who I think has all the PD stuff.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, and this is like on Democrats. States should go after these people.
Yeah,
Washington
they are.
D.C. should go after these people. Like that happened in
Well,
Washington
DC is not
D.C.
a state.
They have cops.
Yeah,
That
but it's like
well, yeah,
I know
DC is
what you're
maybe a bad
saying. I don't think
example,
they can just come and
but
replace.
like if you stayed the night at the hotel room in New York or Pennsylvania or Virginia, those people you should be going after them. Anyway, that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
Um, it's just been bizarre, but I think that the Musk and the Doge thing is it's stunning to me. And honestly, like, look, Elon Musk, just like a year ago, was a joke, stoned out of his mind, smoking a huge blunt on a
Yeah, it was a
podcast.
fucking meme. Yeah, but I think that was all to make him look cool. You know how
But
many
like,
douchebags that probably worked on?
yeah,
Worked on him?
but why is it working on the church crowd in Arkansas?
I
Why
don't know. Because Fox
why
News,
are
like,
60-year-old salt of the earth red state Republicans thinking, you know what we need is a dope smoking tech bro in charge of our social
yeah,
security? What,
two
like, what do
years
you?
ago, he, yeah, like, I don't know, whenever before he announced that around COVID, everybody knew what he was at that point. And he became like full on right wing. And then he bought Twitter. And
Yeah,
from there, like, these morons like, oh, he's bringing back free speech. No, he's not, you dumb fuck. Like, what
no.
the fuck are you talking about?
The other thing too is like all these banks now are forgiving Tesla's debt. Like it's
Because
just like
he's
this.
involved with the government now?
Yeah,
That's insane.
like
That's not
okay,
corrupt at all.
banks sell down 5.5 billion of Musk's Twitter debt.
That's
And Elon Musk owed 5.5 billion dollars to these investors, and the banks just wrote it off. They wrote it
that's
off.
insane.
Like if I if I don't make my $500 Capital One payment, they're gonna fucking send a sheriff to my car to my house and repo
Yeah.
something, you
Yep.
know? And Elon Musk walks out on $5 fucking billion worth of debt, and two things happen. One, people, he's a remarkable businessman. The fuck are you kidding me? Like
Yeah. It's
I
a
could
con
lose.
man.
Give me I could also lose $5 billion. You know, I mean, like, what? And and people are like, yeah, we need this guy in charge of our money. Like,
I don't know.
it's
I still
remarkable.
can't like fathom how this is all happening.
I can't,
He's
I
not
don't know.
elected. He's not in
Yeah.
the cabinet. He's not been like he has no hearings or anything like that. He just goes in and he's having like
He
this
couldn't get hired
crazy young
at
20 guys fuck
yeah.
up our, I don't know, what's he doing? He's stealing their social security information? It's
He
crazy.
nobody knows what he's doing. But what people really think he's doing is he's gathering up all the data on government workers, and then he's going to fire a bunch of them. Um, and uh, that's another thing is like a lot of these government workers, they ain't all liberal. A lot
Yeah,
of them are like, fish and game commissioners that live in Missouri,
right.
or like Department of Agriculture people that live in Des Moines. I mean, these
Sorry,
aren't.
I'm just standing
Yeah, yeah.
because I need to like I'm so yeah, go ahead.
There's just it's crazy. So
Do I look like a giant right now?
yeah.
Hello, Joseph. Hello.
Well, I don't know.
Uh,
I think at the same time I am really disheartened by the lack of any organized democratic response.
I
I
mean,
know
I
that
saw like Elon Omar give like a good speech and talking it pretty much
bad
calling out the
messenger.
Musk thing, but she unfortunately is even among Democrats a polarizing figure. I like
She's
her, but they took some the right wing Jewish part or just right wing Israel supporters have labeled, and that could be Christian Zionists, labeled her as like this terrorist basically,
yeah.
and then I don't know. I feel like Democratic Party like needs to like I don't know what they're gonna do.
Who the fuck? Where's Harris? Where's
Well,
I mean, like
Harris is not anything anymore. She
no.
wasn't.
I mean, I don't
Well,
blame her. I'd be like
Candace voted for like
psychologically. I don't
what?
know. I don't blame her. I'd be like psychologically unwell after all that
I'd be like,
myself.
fuck this. You guys are dumb.
Right. Yeah.
I offered an expansion on Medicaid that would have provided elderly care. You
Yeah.
dumb fucks.
And instead, let's check the headlines here. Doge broadens sweep of federal agency gains access to health payment systems.
Yeah, that's insane.
Like what?
None of this shit would be happening under her. None of it.
Yeah. Not
The only
yeah.
thing that what
None of it. Yeah, literally none of it.
I saw people bring up, and I don't care. I'm not gonna get scolded by this. Like, oh, like at they would have like the uncommitted and like pro Palestinian people show up at all her speeches and all that.
Yeah.
People brought up, how come they never came to a Trump one?
Yeah. They're fucking bad
And
faith
then of course
actors.
their excuse is like, oh, because it won't matter. It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
but like you should have. It's just fucking.
Well, I'll tell you the odd thing here is um yeah, I the odd thing is that Democrats really did need those people on board to win, and they weren't on board,
Yeah,
and you can't trust them to be on board. If they weren't on board for this, they're never going to be on board. If they looked at the risk Trump posed and were like, no, I'm going to make a point and vote for Jill Stein, they're fucking used. They'll die
yeah,
useless.
yeah,
You
yeah.
will never be able to count on them because
Jill
they're
Stein is the one of the worst candidates ever, and just because she's on a third party does not make her good in any way
yeah.
whatsoever.
So I don't know. I mean, like, I think the some Democrat, a telegenic young Democrat, should be out there talking to Democrats and to Republicans saying Elon Musk is stealing your money. Elon Musk doesn't want your kid to have
I mean, that is
free
getting
daycare.
out there, but it's true. Yeah, like there's
But it needs to be a systemic,
Trump is
unified,
freaking like
yeah,
all these things so they can take that money and steal it. Like removing us from like the WHO or like there's a couple
yeah.
of things that
A lot of those like I'm not even like I get worked up over that just because I think we should be in who? I think we should be on the UN Human Rights Council, which we left today. I
yeah,
think we should be.
exactly.
There's a bunch of things I think we should do.
It's the
However,
same thing.
like the order has changed. You know what I mean? Like after social media became a thing, it was never going to be about diplomats in a back room anymore.
Yeah.
It just wasn't going to be like that anymore. It was going to be more like this. So whether or not we get out of, I mean, like some of those things, I think I think they're terrible, but they may not be the end of the world terrible. Um, I think the bigger thing is that America, Republicans and Democrats, all of us are just sitting back and letting this unelected oligarch literally
How do they
dismantle.
get rid of them?
I don't know. I mean, honestly, I'm surprised there aren't riots. I'm really,
I don't
I'm
think
really
people
surprised.
have. I don't think the damage is hit yet. I don't think people have
Well, that's
had.
true. I think the damage will hit the first because no one I don't think has lost their job yet, but like everyone knows someone who's going to be affected.
Yeah.
You know, like Republicans and Democrats like trans people have already been wrecked. Gay and
Yeah.
lesbian people are up next. And all I mean, this is really just like such an immense transformation of our society and culture, like overnight, run by the shittiest people on the planet. You know, I don't know. I really don't know what to say. I mean, I know that's the point is to be shocked and awed, and
Yeah,
that's
exactly. I mean, it's to throw as many distractions out so that they can do what they want to do.
yeah.
And then people will lose their footing or not give a shit and
So
just get
weird though. Like
apathetic. And
with Elon Musk, who has billions of like, he'll never be able to spend all his money. Like, why does he want more money? That's like me wanting more bicycles in my garage. You know what I mean? Like I
yeah,
get like wanting to have several bicycles, maybe you want a mountain bike and maybe a
dirt bike.
collective. But like even at some point, even Jay Leno's like, I don't need another Porsche. I don't.
Yeah, I
I
don't
mean,
believe that part.
well,
Yeah, part. Hey, yeah, I got a new Porsche today. Yeah, I put
I
a
don't.
rocket engine on the back.
I don't need another pair of asbestos long johns. Um,
What?
asbestos. Didn't he get in a car fire or something?
I think
I think he burned himself or something.
no, really? Oh, I didn't know that.
Let me see. Yeah. Um. Well, I don't
The
know.
paper today, I was lit on fire.
Jay Leno burn.
That is like a
Burn
joke.
accident. Yeah. Um. He was in a motorcycle accident and that caught on fire, and then he got burned really bad.
Like a
Burns to his face.
burn. You've been burned like that, or just straight up.
He underwent surgery to get a new face. Yeah. Well,
Who's this again? I'm sorry, what?
Jay Leno, he got
Oh, Jay.
surgery to, it was like face off, but not with,
When?
like 2 years ago.
No, I never heard of this. He didn't get a new face.
Yeah. Here's him with an
Look
eye.
like
He's got like an
we
eye
got a different Jay
patch.
Leno now. Mhm.
Accident that led to severe burns. Look at this guy. Here, hold on. Let me see if I can.
Yeah.
That's him.
Where's his burns?
That's them. He looks like a charcoal briquette.
Is it just there?
I don't know.
Oh, weird.
Anyway,
Well, I was gonna. Never mind. Go ahead.
no, I was just, I don't, I guess that's the end of what I have to say about it.
Yeah, I mean, again, none of this didn't need to happen. I feel like, and this is why I'm kind of like a little jaded about things, and I give a shit. I feel like even the so-called like everyone was pushing towards Trump to win.
Yeah,
That's a fact.
yeah.
I mean, you could, yeah.
Well, it is, and like I guess circling back to what we had originally said, like I used to have the luxury to care about Palestine. I did, like a year ago, I did,
Yeah,
and
no, I saw a great TikTok this woman did where she's talking, it's like supposed to be after the election, Trump won, and she's like, yeah, I can't do this. I don't have time to do this. I'm a single mother. It's like, oh, I can't help you with this protest in Palestine. My trans like cousin or something needs to be hidden. It's like,
yeah,
and you're right. I said this before during the election, like it is a luxury to care about a country that you don't live in. I know someone will say like, I know people. It doesn't matter.
good.
I
Then
don't care.
go over there and fight. I don't know what to tell
I
you.
know. I mean, it's not even that. It's just like I don't know.
Yeah, well, woof.
I mean, God, I can't even think.
Yeah.
Yeah. It- all right. My I have officially turning into a pumpkin. It's actually 11:57 on my time. I get less sleep sometimes now
Yes.
for reasons I'm not going to talk about.
Right.
Um, not to be cryptic at all.
Right. Post out.
Whatever the crypt keeper sounded like with his little puns.
Yeah.
I guess you could say it's hands off. I don't know. It's like some corny ass
Yeah.
jokes.
He's great.
It'll be a ghoulish time.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I guess I'll end on this. If there were any
I would prefer
if,
the crypt keeper in the Trump's cabinet. I think he'd be a good storyteller.
yes, brings that to
Come
the
around,
table.
my ghouls, ladies and ghouls.
Um, yeah. Well, the one bright thing that happened, the one nice thing that happened today is I guess Mitch McConnell fell a bunch of times. Uh,
Yeah, I feel like they're trying to like reform this guy, and it's like, dude, you
he
had a
did, yeah,
make sure that Trump
yeah.
never won. You could
Right.
have you had a choice where you could have made that Trump got impeached back in
Yeah.
2002,
Mitch
and
McConnell
there would have
voted
been
against, yeah,
and there would
he
have been
voted against Trump recently about something, and I'm like, nice try, Mitch. You're still going
yeah,
straight to hell. You're still going,
yeah, no, fuck that guy.
yeah.
Like I said, he
Anyway,
had one chance, he blew it.
mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh well. All right. So anyway, I heard he bounced down a flight of stairs. So I did. I heard that actually happened.
I'm sorry, what?
Did you hear this? Mitch McConnell fell a bunch of times today.
Oh yeah. I
Yeah.
think I did. Yeah.
Anyway. All right. Well.
Real quick, I've been watching.
Hmm.
I always see like clips of Jimmy Kimmel's monologue.
Yeah. Yeah.
funny. But they have this like one bit where they interview people. I forgot. I don't know if it's called like lie detector or
Oh,
like something lie. And they'll just ask them like a really basic question about something,
yeah,
and then they'll pretend and they lie again. Yeah, I don't know. It's just pretty funny.
yeah.
Well, they get it wrong, like really wrong. Like they don't know anything about history. They're like, isn't it crazy what JFK's doing? And then the person be like, yeah, I think JFK's out of control. I think he needs to be talked to. I've been paying, you pay attention a lot? I sure do.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, where are they finding these fucking people? But then again, I'm like, I guess the joke is they don't have to work that hard to find them.
No, you don't. You really don't.
The United States.
Mm. Oh well.
All right.
All right.
Well, I'm Rob Israel.
I'm Joseph K.
You still going on about
That.
Thank you for listening to You Still Going On About That. Please like, comment, share, and if you haven't done already, please follow us on Instagram, YSGOAT, Facebook, YSGOAT, and Twitter, YSGOAT. Thank you, and have a great day.